Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to this webinar entitled Innovation Focused Transformation, a Telefonica Case Study. My name is Mark Newman, and I am Chief Analyst at TM Forum. Delighted to have with me today from different parts of the world. We have Marco Vidal, and Marco is IT Director for Telefonica Peru. Hello, Marco. And we have two speakers from one of Telefonica's key partners in its transformation. We have Armando Martinez, who's Regional LATAM VP at Tecnotree. And Armando will give you a little bit of introduction to Tecnotree for those of you who need refamiliarizing with the company. And Sajan Thomas. Sajan is VP of Products within Tecnotree. So in terms of how we will run this session over the next hour, I'll be giving a broad introduction around transformation, some of the trends that we're seeing and our initiatives within TM Forum. I'll then hand over to Armando, who will talk about some of the solutions and capabilities that Tecnotree has made available to Telefonica. Marco will then talk through some of the business challenges and opportunities that Telefonica faces, and then Sajan will talk about some broader trends in terms of the market landscape. We would love to hear from you, our participants, and so we'll be leaving 10 minutes at the end of this session just to take your questions. You don't need to wait until then to give us your questions. So if you hear something that any of us says and you have a question, please use the Q&A box on the Zoom platform, put in your question, and at the end of the, when we finish speaking, we'll then turn our attention to those questions. Just one final point before we start today. You don't need to worry about taking screenshots or notes. We will be recording the session and send you a copy of that recording with the slides. You'll get that within about 24 hours, so you can fully focus on listening to what we all have to say. Okay. So on that note, I think I will start. And as I mentioned, I'm Chief Analyst at TM Forum. You know, for several years now, we've been monitoring the global telecoms industry and how it feels around transformation and how it feels about the business itself. And I think when we think about transformation, and I think Marco will talk about this, the reason that telcos need to transform is because of business reasons. Operators transform because they see opportunities or threats in the marketplace, and transformation is a response to that. And I guess the more challenging the market, the more you'll need to transform what you're doing. So when we carry out our surveys of the industry, we often like to ask operators, now, how do you feel about the future of your business? Do you feel that you're in a growth business? Do you feel as if you're in a business that's flat? Do you feel as if you're in a business which is declining? And I would say, when we look at the four scenarios that we've given to operators, so these two surveys were conducted 1 year apart. So DTT3, which is Digital Transformation Tracker 3, that was our survey in 2019. Digital Transformation Tracker 4 was in 2020. Now, we ask both operators and vendors to tell us how they see the prospects for the telecoms industry. And we give them four options. And as you can see, the most popular option is that the people see a gently increasing picture in terms of revenues. However, I think that the big takeaway looking at these responses is that we do face an uncertain future. There are as many people who think there'll be a stagnation in revenues as those who think there'll be strong revenue growth. So clearly, as a telco, the future is uncertain, and so transformation is important to put you in the best possible shape for future challenges and for opportunities. So this is a slide that we use a lot now within TM Forum, and we use this slide to describe both how we see the evolution of the telecoms operator business model and opportunities in the marketplace. So I'll talk you through this slide. So this is a classic 2x2 slide. So how we as TM Forum see the industry today is we see operators in I guess, the bottom left corner, and we believe operators need to become more efficient. So they need to move from left to right, just to basically protect their core business. So it's our view that transformation is not optional, that you need to transform your business just to become more efficient, just to carry on doing what you're doing today in a more efficient way. However, when it comes to new lines of business, new business models, we describe red ocean battlegrounds as those parts of the market which are highly competitive. So if we look at the classic telecoms market, connectivity and communication services, that's a mature competitive market. And if you are just remaining in that market, it's going to remain competitive. So we're saying that you will need to make your business more efficient. But then if you stay in these red ocean battlegrounds, then that means that your opportunities will be limited. So we often talk about blue ocean opportunities. And what we mean by blue ocean opportunities is becoming more of an enabler. And being an enabler is what we hear a lot of talk about these days. And essentially it means enabling other companies, other industries to transform themselves. So when we think about, for example, about 5G, we think of operators moving into B2B2C business models, new vertical market opportunities. So this slide, just in summary, it's doing two things. It's saying that, yes, you need to transform your business, and you need to transform your business regardless of whether you're staying in red ocean battlegrounds or whether you're seeking to aspire to move into new areas. And I think what we would say is that if you want to move into blue ocean opportunities, you still have to transform your business. So that is not an option. It's something that operators have to do. So the question we've been asking the industry for the last 4 years is, what's the status of your transformation program? So these different colors here show you the progress from the period 2017 to 2020. And as you can see here, about 40–50% of operators still consider themselves to be in the fairly early stages of transformation. Some of them in the planning phase, some of them are reaping the rewards of transformation. That's probably about 20%. Some of them are what we call aware. So they know they need to transform, but they haven't actually made much progress yet. I think when we look at these figures and we think about why is the industry seem to be making pretty slow progress in transformation, our observation is that many operators have started along the path of transformation, but they become quite frustrated quite quickly about the progress they're making. So there's a willingness to transform, but the early results are not as beneficial as they were hoping. I think another point to be made here is that this word transformation is a very big word, and within a single operator, you might have 20, 30 transformation initiatives, and it's very important to bring those all together, because many of the benefits of transformation involve working across the whole organization. So in terms of what the drivers are for transformation, Mark will be talking to us about some of the objectives in Telefonica, which are around customer experience and around new revenues. And indeed, when you look at what the key drivers are, I would say the number one driver is probably having a stronger customer experience. You can see consistently 60 to 70% or 80% of operators are saying it's very important. Then I would say it's agility, and then it's revenue growth. So those three tend to be the three main drivers: customer experience, agility, and revenue growth. And often they feed off of each other. So I mentioned before that progress has been slower than many operators would have liked. It would be easy to talk about some of the technology challenges, but actually many of the people we speak to are more likely to talk about some of the cultural challenges that we have. And the cultural challenges, by culture we mean people. We mean people and organization. And it can be a cultural challenge from the top of the organization or from the bottom of the organization, or maybe it's a challenge of where the people working lower down the organization, how they interface with people higher up the organization, and having aligned vision and aligned communications. And so when you look at what's seen as being the most serious barriers, consistently we're hearing culture and organization, lack of management support, lack of clear aligned vision and goals. In the last survey that we did earlier this year, we thought we would put inflexible legacy IT. We thought we'd put that as one of the options because we wanted just to see whether people considered that was as big an obstacle as the cultural obstacle. And I think what we can see from this is that inflexible legacy IT is indeed a very serious barrier. Is it as big as barrier around culture? Maybe, but I think on balance we could say that it's probably culture and people, which is the biggest single challenge. And I'd be interested to hear Marco's comment as to whether he agrees with that. So here at TM Forum, we spend a lot of time working with operators and thinking about how they need to transform their organizations from a technology perspective to become more agile, to drive new revenues, have a stronger customer experience. And we fully believe that operators need to move towards a cloud native approach. They need to move out of these BSS, OSS network silos. Operators need to shift to more of an open, modern, software-defined technology architecture that enables new operating and business models, and one which is loosely coupled, cloud native, data and AI driven. And I think that represents a very big change for operators. What we are not saying, so we call this blueprint our open digital architecture. What we are not saying within that is precisely what the speed of transformation needs to be. And our observation would be that there are different approaches from different operators about the speed at which they are transforming. I would say that when we look at that speed of transformation, the biggest shift that we're seeing is a desire to move towards more of an incremental approach towards transformation. And we certainly see a movement away from the big bang transformations. So when we look at the telecoms industry today and the shift from being a traditional CSP to a DSP, we believe that the majority of telcos are somewhere on that journey. It's very difficult to find a brownfield operator which has gone all the way to embracing what we call our open digital architecture. But this initiative does have the support of all the tier one players in the industry. And I think when we hear from the guys at Technotree and at Marco, you'll hear that those approaches we're talking about have very much been embraced by the industry. And it's a question, I think, of timing, of sequencing, of prioritization. So they were just a few introductory comments. I'm now going to hand you over to Armando to talk about some of Technotree's solutions and capabilities in this space. But just before I do so, I'm going to ask Ali, who is my colleague at TM Forum, to pull up the first of our polls. And so you should all be seeing a box on your screen now, and this gives you a chance to share some of your thoughts around transformation. And I've already just touched on this, so I've given you a lead in. So we'd like to ask you the question, and if you could just choose one of these three options. Would you support a two-speed approach to digital transformation that involves putting a new digital platform on top of existing legacy applications? So would you support a two-speed approach? So are you happy to take a more gradual two-speed approach, or would you prefer to have a single big bang approach, or are you not sure? So if we can just give you another 10 seconds, and then we'll look at some of the answers. So click yes if you're happy with a two-speed approach, or no if you want a big bang approach, or not sure if you're not sure. So another 5 seconds, then we'll take a look, and then we can see what the consensus is. So Ali, let's have a look at the numbers. Okay, so so 3 out of 4, you're happy for a 2-speed approach, which I think is the answer we're probably pleased to see, Armando. And you think we expected to see that? Does that fit in with what you're seeing, Armando, do you think?
Yes, Mark, exactly. That's the trend in the industry nowadays, because people are not taking risks with their business and their operations. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thanks for that. So Armando, I will move the slides for you. So let me know when you need me to move on. So Armando, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mark. And well, as Mark pointed out, a big statement now is that transformation is not optional. But let us say, transformation for what? Well, it can be, as we saw, to overcome competition, to be more agile, to improve customer experience, to have a better operational efficiency. And yes, all of these drivers are very valid, but now, how do I transform? How do I combine this digital enablement and digital efficiency, the blue ocean opportunities that Mark spoke about, when at the same time, the biggest barrier is the inflexibility of legacy IT technology? Well, this is exactly the paradigm that Technotree solved for Telefonica. And the reason is because Technotree is the only full stack digital BSS company with more than 40 years of deep knowledge and experience, fully focused in telecommunications service providers, understanding not only their technology, but their business needs, and providing solutions to them. Our headquarters are in Finland, and we have global presence. That includes research and development centers in Finland, India, Dubai, and Argentina, an experience center in Dubai, and as you can see, several offices around the world. In Latin America, for example, we have direct presence in 10 countries. Our installed base covers 70 plus countries, serving more than 800 million subscribers, distributed among 90 plus service providers. Standards compliance is very important, and it's a must for us. So we also have close to 300 certified professionals in TM Forum standards. The company, along its history, has done acquisitions and gone through several milestones. And as said before, acquiring deep knowledge and becoming an expert in different technology domains. Next one, please. For Technotree, our strategy to combine digital enablement and digital efficiency relies in 3 pillars. First, you need digital products for business to have all the tools to start and manage a digital business. And these digital products include catalog-driven architectures, order management, digital wallets, omnichannel enablement, and so on. The second pillar is digital software for technology. So you have the agility to achieve your business needs, and this digital software includes microservices orchestration, open APIs, artificial intelligence, machine learning, containerization, etc. And the third pillar is digital management for operations. So you can automate, optimize processes, and take decisions on accurate data. This includes functions like self-healing, self-monitoring, high availability, scalability, zero downtime upgrades, automated fault management, and so on. Next slide, please. The first pillar, our product portfolio, is divided into 3 suites. Customer Engagement Suite, Revenue Management Suite, and Business Enablement Suite, and also a very comprehensive list of VAS services products. Now, the reason why I have mentioned to you all this experience, knowledge, and digital strategy is because when Marco from Telefonica presents the case study and explains his needs, the solution, and the outcome of his implementation, you will see how all the concepts, the strategy, and the building blocks that I explained were applied. Moreover, the signature of our digital products is present in the journeys, was present in the deployment, the solution, the benefits, and so on. Like, for example, the omni-channel enablement, the open APIs management, the DevOps used during the deployment, the open sources technologies, the microservices orchestration, the usage of containers, the low-code orchestrator services. And this last feature is very important because it means that new services and new applications will not require development efforts, but just configuration. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of digital transformation, there are two ways for the approach, the big bang and the dual speed. Next one, please. In the big bang transformation approach, we simply replace the legacy systems with microservices driven digital products and modules. So this is quite easy to understand. Next one, please. And the second way is to do it with dual speed transformation, where we provide a platform that overlays on the current existing systems of the operator without changing their backend systems. The main function is to act as a digital acceleration layer along with channel aggregation, also serving as an API manager and a microservices orchestrator. That is very important. So the result is that this agile platform or enabler will help the operators to start modernizing their channels, start getting more revenue, start automating their services, and also to be able to slowly make a transformation in a phased manner instead of doing a big bang. And this is the best way you can guarantee the continuity of your business and your operations. And this is exactly the model or the approach that Telefonica used in their case study that Marco will be presenting now. That's it, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Armando. Thank you very much indeed. So before we hand over to Marco, we're just going to have another little poll question, a slightly different one this time. So Ali, if you could just pull up the next poll. And so as you'll hear from Marco, a lot of the some of the rationale for launching the transformation was around customer experience and new services. So, so this is a slightly different question. So we're asking you the question, how important you feel it is for telecoms operators to offer TV services to differentiate themselves from competitors. So it's a pretty simple question and answer. I'm sure some of you are offering TV services. Some of you maybe are thinking about offering TV services. Maybe some of you have never offered TV services. So let's have your vote, please. It should be quite a simple one for you to choose. If you're a technology supplier, then maybe you can talk about your belief about which of those three options is most viable. We'll give you another 10 seconds. Okay, thanks, Ali. Should we take a look? Okay, so yeah, so kind of interesting. So 1 in 3 is extremely important, and just over half is essential, but not essential, but can provide important differentiation. And I don't know what you think about that reply, Marco, but you know, when I look around the world, I would say most operators are probably looking at one of those first couple of options. I tend to think strategies vary a lot based on the state of competition in their own marketplace. So any thoughts, Marco, about that? What you would expect?
Well, we now are facing difficulties with the pandemic, and we are sharing entertainment and work at the same time. I think it's very important for some operations. We born with cable TV, so we need to continue busting this market. So for us, it is very important, and it helps us to grow.
Thank you very much. Anyway, over to you, Marco.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Marco Vidal. I'm the CIO of Telefonica del Peru. I'm going to share with you a little bit our experience transforming in this two speeds, as Mark told us before. Let me explain a little bit of Telefonica del Peru, our operation. We are part of Telefonica Group, whose headquarters are in Spain, and in Peru we have been since 1994. And during all these years, we developed the telecommunication sector in B2C and B2B markets, offering different products. In B2B, we provide data services, IT professional services, security and cloud solutions. And in B2C, we provide the full offering: TV, cable TV, ultra broadband internet access, mobile, and wireline communication. So we also are very proud that in 2019, Telefonica decided to make a new entrepreneurship with Facebook and Inter-American Development Bank, and bring to those that are unconnected in Peru mobile internet access. We are providing that to 6 million people in locations with very high geographical complexity, like rural Andean zones and Amazonian small locations. So something very important that we are doing now for bringing internet to everyone in Peru. But let's see in the next slide, please. Let's see the case study that we're talking about. This is our Apollo project. For us, the name of the project was Apollo. It was designed to simplify our application map. Techno3 was choosing for this initiative, and we have been working with them since then, trying to improve our time to market and increment the customer-centric mindset in our people also, because this is a new approach that is very interesting for our people. As you can imagine, in these 26 years, we developed a fantastic mess in terms of applications, technologies, vertical solutions, integrations in between them. The complexity is one of the biggest problems that we have. We saw in the slides that Mark showed us that the legacies are one of the biggest problems. So our objectives were enable revenue streams with OTTs, that was the business need, but also reduce our complexity and unravel this hardwired ecosystem that we have in our operations, adopt agility, and continue what we call the appification of the company. So that was the business objectives that we need to appificate everything in the company. So this was the first project that we begin to do this kind of appification in the OTT part of the market. The next slide, please. The first use case that we built was a Movistar Play. Movistar Play is a video streaming service developed by our corporation using a CDN that we call Global Video Platform. At the beginning, in Peru, we just offer this service to our cable TV customers. But with the World Cup 2018 and the Pan American Games, we saw opportunity to differentiate our offering, bringing this solution to all the customers that we have in Peru. And that was the challenge. So we need to change our in-house developments with something more scalable and agile. So that was the first deliverable of Apollo project, Movistar Play subscription lifecycle management. And this application is connected to the GVP and can subscribe and unsubscribe customers, suspend and resume services, change passwords, manage the renting moving events, and impact that in the bills of the customers, and also provide customer profiling so we can discriminate the customers that have HBO or Fox additional packages in our offering. So now we have 2.2 million customers per month using these services, and was a project delivered on time with no extra cost. That is very important for us. Next slide, please. The second application or business service that we developed here was the CSU. CSU is the Unified Balance Consultation. In our market, we have a lot of customers with different needs. So we have packages, we purchase packages with different benefits in megabytes, in SMS, in minutes, or combinations of them. So it was very difficult for them to see the balances of those packages that they buy. So we built a solution that simplifies that, tries to bring in one view all the balances that they have. And the important thing that we did here is that this solution, the CSU business service, is not only working on the app Mi Movistar. The screen that you see there is the app, but also in our CRM, on our call center bots. So with this, we put and provide an omni-channel vision of the information of the balance of our customers, and that was very appreciated from them. The app Mi Movistar now is rating the Play Store with 4.2 points. That is over all the apps from our competitors. So that was a very interesting achievement also that we did with this solution. The next slide, yes, thank you. Some other applications that we have are related to USSD applications. And in USSD applications, we have 2 blocks of applications that we put in place. The first ones are related to the points of sale of recharges. This is we have a massive sales channel with 75,000 people with phones selling recharges via USSD, and that is about 500,000 transactions per day. And this application was implemented also in the Apollo project. And the second group of applications are related to customer purchasing packages. And this solution profiles the customer, identifies the preferences, and shows the personalized menus in USSD for purchasing packages. And we have more than 100,000 transactions per day with these solutions. And during the pandemic, as an example, in response to a request of the Ministry of Health of the government of Peru, we developed in a few days a USSD survey for citizens on COVID-19 very rapidly. So those are the most important applications that we developed in the Apollo project. And now we are launching our next project. It's to put the Amazon Prime and Disney Plus services inside our offering and make the connections with them, with these OTT platforms for registering the customers and make the reverse provisioning of them and manage the campaigns and the discounts for our customers inside our platform. And with the help of Tecnotree, we're going to have that deployed before Christmas campaign, right, Armando?
He said yes.
Yes.
On TV.
Next slide. Yes, next slide.
Excellent.
So this is related to not only technology, as Mark and Armando said, but also a change of culture and mindset of people. Our people is beginning to work with new tools, new artifacts like customer journey maps and use case analysis, so we can draw all the journey of the customer and identify in each process what are the services that we need to put in place in the platform, and with that we can achieve the goal of map everything that the customer needs. So we are very customer oriented with this kind of approach. So this is a new way of working with new tools that helps us to identify all we have to do in order to accomplish a complete view of the customer journey. So this is a new approach, very interesting, that we are working with in each product and in each application that we are doing with Tecnotree. Next, please. And this is a non-exhaustive slide related to the architecture, but as you see, we have our channels on the top, the Telefonica channel layer. We have channels on the top that are connected to this platform that accelerates our developments with a lot of artifacts and modules that help us to reuse and reutilize everything that could be reused. And with two elements very important, the workflow management and the business orchestrator, that helps us to reuse the services, but also rebuild processes very, very fast. So the Telefonica backends are the same that we have. We are also working in data appification, exposing every service from the backends that we have, and putting also a lot of data near online in those repositories for building services that provide information near online. So with this architecture, we are enabling to do a lot of things related to OTTs and new services that we can provide to our customers. Next, please. Well, our outcomes. As you see, we talk all the time about the speed. The speed is very important. We reduce our complexity and do the same amount of work very fastly with this microservice-oriented methodology. We increase revenue and reduce churn because of this satisfaction of our customers. The new view of looking at an omni-channel view of the information and is very important. So everywhere you can see the same information and you have the same answer for the customer all the time. This is a customer experience orientation, very important in the company that we are working on. And the reduction of cost is very important, reducing the amount of application, amount of legacies, licenses. So open source is also very important for for all the solutions. So we are using a lot of open source solutions for monitoring for all the modules that we have. So this is very important for us because also reduces infrastructure and license costs. And this is our case study. Next. So thank you for the participation and letting us to share with you our experience. And now I think it's time for Sajan.
Thank you, Marco. I know you've been very busy, so much appreciated spending time with us. Before I hand over to Sajan, I think we have just a last poll question. Okay, so this is a slightly different question. Which of the following strategies it should read most closely aligns with your organization's or with your customers' organization's short and medium-term goals to increase revenues? So simplifying that question, when you think about your goals to increase revenues, which of those 5 options is most closely aligned with your strategies, or maybe another way of putting it, which is most important to you? So I'm sure that more than one are probably relevant, but if you had to choose one, what would it be? So we'll give you, so this is not one where it's immediate yes or no, you need to make a judgment which is most important. So we'll give you just 10 more seconds before we hand over to Sajan. Okay, Ali, I think we can take a look now. So we have quite a split, I would say, a fair spread between partnerships, selling more to existing customers, driving new monetization models. And that's pretty much how I would see the market. I think there's a range of different approaches, and maybe it's not mutually exclusive. So I think many operators are looking to do a number of those things. So Sajan, any surprises there, would you say?
Not exactly. I think the trends are really the way the business across different CSPs perceive it to happen.
Yeah.
And I guess in some of my slides, I would also want to touch upon some of the trends that we are looking at from our perspective. So thank you, Mark.
Yes,
thank you, Mark.
Sajan, over to you. And just before you, so if you have any questions for Mark in terms of Telefonica case study, please use a chat box and we'll come back to you. But sorry, Sajan, back to you.
No problems, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sajan Thomas. I am heading the product office in Techno3. So as we were talking, there are some business trends that we have been observing. And we just wanted to highlight some of them that across here in this audience. So one of the key things that we are observing is to avoid big bangs and explore multi-speed operating agile models. And this was evident with the response that we got in the previous poll. Then the second one is to reuse existing assets. Marco did mention that, we have invested a lot of money and technology over the past 20 plus years to build the organization capability. So it is not always easy to just replace everything at once. So we have to look at the possibilities of reusing existing assets and building something on top of those capabilities with a focus on fully decoupled processes. Rapid time to market is another trend that we have been observing with providing quick enablement of on-demand services. And with today's situation of COVID, we can understand that many of the subscribers are not facing the operators in a face-to-face manner. They're looking for a lot of services that they can purchase over the digital channel. And hence, it is very important for the operators and CSPs to innovate through launch fast and fail fast model. And fail fast because, if there is something that is not working, then we have to kill it. And we just have to be brutal about it. We should not think twice. We don't have any mercy, no guilt. We just kill it and move forward to another service that can make sense for the subscribers. The other part is to strengthen partner ecosystem to enable new revenue streams, because the telco services itself is not providing the revenue that the CSPs are looking for. So there is a need to look at other areas. User journey driven and customer centric journeys orchestration is another aspect that we have seen. More providing more digital experiences to the customer, and it should more be users and persona driven rather than application or product driven. The other point was related to lightweight and seamless integrations, not making the architecture heavy. Then intelligence driven journeys and intelligence driven operations in order to improve the performance, the efficiencies, bring in innovation and business process automation. The last one was about monetizing APIs to enable new business models. So these are some of the business trends that we have been observing. Moving on to the next slide, Mark. Okay, so most of the trends that we have seen in the earlier slide are not coming from few sources. So we have been interacting with various operators across the globe, and we understand that there is a global need for an accelerator platform. Does it really mean that CSPs do not want to move out of their traditional systems? They are probably creating many concerns in their ecosystem. Yes, they want to transform, and yes, they want to move out of this, but what is the cost that they have to pay? Not at the cost of impacting their current businesses and operations. Anything that can provide more efficiencies, more value, and a value that is either measurable or a value that can be experienced with speed and reduced costs are more than welcome from an operator perspective. Things that can be achieved in days and weeks rather than months or years, with the needed flexibility and configurability. So something like what Marco explained in terms of the Amazon service or the Disney service, want to launch it before Christmas. There is a concept, there is an idea, we should be able to achieve that. That's the agility that we need in the platform. And these are the things that operators are more than welcome. They're welcoming to invest in, because it provides the experience that the customers are looking for. So what it actually means is it was all about our prioritization of our economics rather than anything else. This could be to reduce churn, improve our revenues, providing better experience, accelerating the time to market, or for any other new opportunities that we see in our respective markets. There are some enablers that I've mentioned here. I'll not go into the details of each one of them, but I'll just touch upon a couple of them here. One of them is a legacy system integration, and this has been a big challenge, and we have seen this in what Mark presented, and we have seen in what Marco presented. So this has been a very big challenge because a lot of things that is working in the legacy system that really cannot be transformed quickly into what we need from a digital experience perspective. There are different methods in the platform. There are different interfaces in the platform that can be configured to extract the data and create meaningful microservices that enables our channels to deliver the experience in the required manner. That's what we do. There may be also issues with the data itself. How do we extract data? So there may be systems that doesn't even provide APIs. So, no legacy APIs, it's just a database. Now, how do you extract those data? How do you give some meaning to the data? How do you scale that data in order to provide the digital experience the customer is looking for? And this is something that the platform enables. The platform is completely microservices enabled. It has the omni-channel experience and the context of the customer transaction that is maintained and managed, business process automation. It also provides an ecosystem enablement for partners and developers to do their development as part of this developer portal, which is enabled as part of this platform, and to enable partnerships by creating this value fabric that is needed for improving the revenues across different channel partners. And another aspect that I wanted to touch upon was a low-code platform, which is enabling to design the overall journey, mostly driven by configuration of APIs and orchestration of services rather than really doing coding on the platform. The other points related to open APIs, we are compliant to open APIs. We have certified on some of our open APIs as well with TM Forum, and it is a cloud-native platform. So moving on to the next slide, Mark. So one of the key aspects that we see is about customer centricity and how do we modernize the customer journeys for our end customers. So we understand what is the goal of the CSP and where do we really want to go from them, for them. And then the platform enables these CSPs to design the journeys, integrate the journeys, orchestrate the journeys, and publish them, which is as conceived by the CSP, in order to continuously evolve and achieve their goals by providing the channel experience as desired by the customer or user. That is what this platform brings in. It allows to continuously optimize these journeys because there is a change in customer behavior. Today, the customer may behave in one manner. Tomorrow, their preferences may change, their behaviors may change. And then you need a platform to adopt to these kind of behavioral changes and preferences of the customer and try to empower more at the point of interaction, which is at the channel, which is at the end customer, with efficient and tailored business processes. So that is what we try to do with this particular customer-centric approach as part of the platform. Next slide, please, Mark. Yeah, another aspect that I touched upon earlier was about the business ecosystem and the partnership enablement part. This platform also enables CSPs to create an ecosystem using a platform-based business model by opening the CSP's assets to other digital players and creating a value chain for enabling digital services and monetization. What we should understand is, so before we do something like this along with the CSPs will try to envision what are the customer segments that we need to target, what are the value proposition that we want to deliver, who are the partners that are required to fulfill this kind of a need, and then create the essential cost and revenue structure to enable this kind of a monetization model. In this use case, if you see, there is an element of a partner that is being onboarded, and the partner provides a digital map product, which can be used by a consumer who is also onboarded into the platform to develop applications or apps and integrate the digital map, which is provided by the partner, into their app. The CSP is providing an enabler platform, then brings all these parties together to deliver the experience required by the customer while also creating revenue models for CSP, for the partner, for the developer. So that is what this platform also enables us to do. So moving on to the next slide, Mark. So if I have to just summarize the platform in terms of the capabilities and what we are providing, it provides a common adapters layer. Like we have some inbuilt protocol connectors that are out of the box. So there are integrations with the legacy system directly to the databases to extract data. All of this are made available through this platform. We have several pre-built platform services that makes it easier for us to realize the business processes. Things like rules, notifications, messaging, search. These are all made available as part of the platform itself. We also allow custom creation of services through these adapters, these interfaces, the rules and the templates. So we provide templates to be able to create services that are sellable in that particular region or market. We provide with a business process workflow modeler and designer to create business processes in a quick manner. We also provide a centralized repository for all the APIs. So this comes with an API management platform, and it acts as a single point of entry for all the external communications towards the channels or users. It also comes with an operations platform, which provides a deployment and a runtime execution environment for the service and business process execution. It monitors the health of the service and application and generates various types of reports and dashboards that is very useful for the operator to measure the experiences and measure them, get the metrics and KPIs of the platform. Moving to the next slide, Mark. So finally, this is my last slide, and I would want to say that Tecnotree's digital BSS Suite 5, which Armando touched upon in the beginning, is not only a platform that addresses the needs of telco services, but we are also addressing the needs of other digital services like video entertainment, smart home, education, and fintech services by allowing the CSPs to create those products and services that can truly transform and inspire new business models. That's it from my side, Mark. Thank you.
Jan, thank you very much indeed. And thank you to Armando and Marco. So we have 5 minutes. So I can see some questions have come in already. So I'm just going to dive into those questions without knowing what awaits us. And so unsurprisingly, questions for Marco. Okay, so this is an interesting one from Nathan. I know Nathan is Chief Digital Officer at a telco in Singapore. So Nathan's question is, with an overlay approach, doesn't that place the legacy platforms under more strain than they can possibly handle? For many telcos, these legacy systems were simply not designed to support digital channels at scale. So I think that's probably one for you, Marco, but maybe Sajan and Armando might have a comment as well. So Marco, thoughts around your legacy?
Yes, we are doing the two-speed transformation. So we are changing also our backend. We are in a very deep transformation of our backends. We finished the migration of our mobile systems to a new one, and we are finishing next year the transformation with the wireline business. So we are going to have in just one BSS all the information with all the APIs. So this is something that we need to do. We begin this 5 years ago. We are finishing, and but we need to also to speed up in some other things like OTT services that we need to do it faster. So yes, it's a two-speed transformation, and we are doing both. If we are also doing some enhancements in the legacy system for supporting some transactions. For example, the fixed business is still in the legacy systems, but we need to do some enhancements there in order to achieve the goals for the business. Yes, that's true.
Thank you, Marco. So I don't know whether Sajan or Marco want to just add anything. I mean, what are your thoughts into Nathan's comments about, should you be addressing the legacy platforms at the same time as some of the more front-end systems?
Yeah, Mark, the comment that I have is that it really depends on the architecture and the way the coupling layer or the accelerator platform is interacting with the backend systems. But at the end, I would say that this is exactly the purpose of this enabler, to provide the new services that the legacy systems can support by using digital technology like microservices orchestration, load coding services, containerization, and so on.
Okay, thank you, Armando. Okay, so a second question here, which is, I guess, a broader question. Marco, if you're an operator, so we saw from our survey that many operators haven't even started their transformation journeys yet. Is it clear to you what the starting point should be?
That's a difficult question. But I think the board must be convinced of this transformation, and this is going to be very painful for the company. The adjustments that we can do in the backends are not enough for the new times that we are living. The enhancements that we can do there are not sufficient even for connecting those applications to platforms like Technotree's platform. So we need to think about how to do the journey. There are other techniques also that you can where you can bring the data near online to habilitate data services for platforms like Technotree, so you can have almost the data online for appification. So it depends on the strategy that you want to implement and in the stage where you are. As you said, if the business is declining, it's very difficult to embrace a big transformation of BSS, for example. And maybe Technotree's approach is better for that situation. So it depends on the strategy and the stage where you are.
And Marco, just while I have you, so when we look at the technology versus culture, culturally, has the cultural transformation proved difficult?
Yes, culture is very important, and I think in this kind of projects, resilience is very important because we need to not be frustrated for the first problems that we're going to have. We're going to have problems in these kind of situations. Technologies are new technologies. They are not foolproof. So we need to walk this journey, but the benefits that we have are quite good, and it's worth it.
Okay, so I'm aware of the time, so it's just moved on to 4 o'clock here in the UK. So I'm sure a lot of you have other meetings to go to, but I'd just like to thank Marco and Sajan and Armando. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I found it very interesting, and we'll send you an email with the recording within the next 24 hours. But thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
So,
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.